Hello everyone. Today we are going to discuss about the business communication in writing form, right? We will be discussing what are the writing skills, what do you understand by the fundamentals of business writing, and how to use written communication in business organization. So moving ahead with our topic. So before coming to the topic, I would like to mention that what Mr. Brett Morrison, American voice actor who portrayed the shadow, said. He said, of all the life skills available to us, communication is perhaps the most empowering. Why? Because it is the way we can communicate our ideas, our thoughts. Because if we are not able to communicate, we are not going to learn any life skill, right? So, for that, the essential thing in our life is to learn how to communicate verbally and non verbally in both ways, right? Let's start the topic. So we will see what topics we are going to cover in this particular session. We will be learning about the introduction of business writing, where we'll see what is the meaning of business writing. Then we will be discussing about fundamentals of business writing. What are the fundamental rules or fundamental principles of writing? Then we'll be discussing what are the common types of business writing, what are the effective writing skills, what are the strategies to use effective writing, and of course, the examples of business writing, like what examples like emails, business reports, memos, minutes of meeting, all these things will cover into the example here. I'll be just explaining you the method, the content which is included in the business writing. And in the next session, we'll be discussing about the formats, the different types of letters, emails. So let's start this session first. So, coming to the introduction to business writing, let's see what business writing refers to. As when we are talking about the written communication, as it is mentioned, the term is used here writing. So, anything which the words, the sentence which we use in form of emails, letters, articles is known as the written communication in business context, right? So the fundamentals is to ensure, the fundamental here means the basic element or the basic rule is to ensure clarity, professionalism, and effectiveness in conveying information. Let's see what business writing means here. The business writing refers to the basic principles and practices that guide the creation of effective written communication in a business context, right? These fundamentals, as I mentioned, ensures clarity, correctness, professionalism, and effectiveness in conveying information, right? So, what let's see what are the key aspects which are included in business writings. So, number one is clarity. First, we'll see that there should be clarity, and in your information, the message which you are conveying, writing should be clear and concise. It must avoid jargons. Here, jargons are the technical issues or the errors which are understood by the technical experts. Like the common people may not be able to understand the technical jargons. So the language must be easy. There should be no complex language to ensure that the message is clearly understood by the receiver. We'll keep into consideration the proper communication process and the 7 C's of communication, as we have discussed in the earlier sessions. Right. So when we keep a control check whether we are following the 7 C's rule of communication or not, right? Let's see the other key aspect, that is purpose. Purpose means your message or your information must contain the purpose of writing. Like, why are you writing an email? What is the purpose of writing an email? Or what is the purpose of writing the uh, minutes of meeting. What are the purpose of writing the business proposal? So the purpose should be defined in your information, should be mentioned in your uh, content. So whether it's to inform, so what will be the purpose? Purpose may inform of whether it is for the information or it is to persuade someone or it is to request someone or to report the objective. The objective should be evident. Like it should be evident from your mail. The subject, there is a subject line when we talk about email, there is a subject line, or when we talk about an application, there is a subject line where it is clearly mentioned regarding what we are writing an email or regarding what we are writing a business letter. For example, if you want to update your KYC in banks, so you might be asked to write an application to the branch manager requesting him to update the KYC, right? So for that, you have to mention in the subject that the application is regarding or the application subject will be request to update KYC. So the words or the sentences that use must have a clear and concise information. There should be no subjective messages. The information should be very much objective and clear, right? Next, audience. Next is audience. We'll be before writing, we must keep into consideration like to whom we are writing, to whom we are catering the information, who is the audience or who is our receiver. So tailor the writing to the audience needs, knowledge level and expectation, right? If we are writing some email to a student, then we have to consider the knowledge level of that student. We don't have to use such advanced vocabularies which we use in communication to our foreign clients or to our business partners, right? So that might advanced vocabulary might not be understood by the student. So the knowledge level and expectation the audience needs must be taken into consideration before communicating, right? The next is tone. Maintain a professional and appropriate tone. Now, tone can vary from formal to semi-formal depending upon the context and audience. Here, the tone is not only in the words, but it's not only in the voice modulation or in the speech, but the tone of writing also matters a lot, right? There might be some words which are informal or which are semi-formal. That has to be taken into consideration whether we are not using any short forms or any abbreviations or any slangs in our professional writing skills, right? So you must take care what sort of sentences, what sort of words you are selecting that do not hamper the formal tone of a business letter or an email, right? The next is structure. Organize content logically with a clear introduction, body, and conclusion. Here we are talking about the structure of that particular business writing uh, formats. Like if we are talking about emails, if we are talking about the memos, if we are talking about the minutes of meetings, then we have to take care that what is the structure of that email, whether there is date first, there is subject line or not, or the salutation is being given or not. So we have to take care of each and everything, right? So an organized content logically with a clear introduction, body, and conclusion are much effective than an unorganized content. Unorganized content, first of all, is not acceptable in professional writings. You have to follow the sequence manner. Use of headings, bullet points, and paragraphs is used to enhance the readability of that particular email, letter, or article, whatever you are writing. It might be business proposal, right? So you have to make it very much clear what sort of headings you are using, which bullet points you are using, and also the font. If you are using uh, different fonts at different paragraphs, then that will also not seem to be a formal presentation or a formal, we can say a formal presentation of an email or formal presentation of a memo. So the font size, the alignment, everything should be in a proper format, in a proper manner, so that it should be, it should look presentable and should be easy to read, and the readability should be enhanced, right? Next is accuracy. When we talk about accuracy, we must ensure that the information provided is accurate and free from error, right? The accuracy means that there should be no errors, or the information must not have any vague information, or there should be no additional information which is irrelevant, right? So the only the accurate, only the significant matters must be there in the message or in the emails, whatever you are using, right? So the information should be crystal clear and accurate. This includes grammar also, spellings also, and factual accuracy, right? So accuracy, when we talk about accuracy, that should also include the grammatical mistakes. If there is any grammatical mistake, you need to check it over there and rectify it, right? You also have to check the spellings also, so that there should be no misinterpretations, right? Next, brevity. Brevity is be succinct. Be succinct here means brevity is to the point. When we talk about brevity, it should be brief. That it should be in a very short and concise way. Avoid unnecessary words and unnecessary information. The information which is required must be included, only that much, right? Irrelevant information should not be included. Now moving to the next slide. What is the format you are following? When we talk about the key elements, the format is the basic key element. Because if the format is not proper, if the format is not updated, the what content you are using, what information you are putting in will not be taken care of, right? So first of all, in which format are you using your documents such as emails, reports, memos, and proposals? Must have a close check. Proper formatting aids in professionalism and readability is required, right? So you have to follow the updated and current format, or we can say if you are not following the current format, must follow the standard format for your emails, right? Emails, reports, memos, minutes of meeting, proposal, whatever you are, whatever method of communication you are using, right? Always follow the standard format, because we have already studied in the previous lectures about standard operating procedure. We have to follow that, right? Because we are doing with the formal communication. We are not using informal communication over here. We can use anything. We can use short forms. We can use slangs. No, this is totally a formal communication format, and we are talking about communication in a written manner. So it also acts as a evidence for you, or it may act as a evidence against you also. So you have to take care whether you are providing the information is correct, accurate, and is having the standard format or not, right? Next, persuasiveness. When we talk about persuasiveness, it means when needed, use motivating words, use encouraging techniques to influence the reader's action or opinions. This involves presenting logical arguments and supporting evidence, right? When we talk about persuasiveness, this is done when we are doing the direct marketing, or when we are using email marketing, or when we are creating any business proposal. So here persuasiveness means to you must put that content that when a reader reads it, gets encouragement and gets motivated to take action within the favor of that particular that content, right? If you are sending some business proposal, the content must have that much of accuracy and that much of reader's ability is that much content that the information which you are putting in into your business proposal, the reader's action gets encouraged and they must favor their opinions, right? So the moral behind this is that if you are writing to a customer, the customer may change his mind about your product and take the decision to buy your product, right? So you have to attract the audience. You have to attract the receiver to read it and to take the action, right? So this involves presenting your logical arguments with supporting evidence, right? We'll be coming to the next. That is revision. The review and revise the writing to improve clarity, coherence, and correctness. Editing is a crucial step to ensure high quality business writing. When we talk about revision, why we do revision? We do revision just to see whether there is any error or not, or is everything okay? Is everything in a sequence and proper format? Or if there is any deviation, we may correct it then and there only before sending it to the receiver, right? So we have to ensure that there should be no error and we have to review and revise it so that we can improve the clarity if any information is not giving the clear meaning, or if there is any word or sentence that is used which is not matching the understanding level of the receiver, then we have to rectify it then and there only, right? So by adhering to these fundamental principles, we can say these fundamental rules, business writers can effectively communicate their messages and achieve the desired outcomes in a professional setting. So we can say these were the attributes of business writings, or we can say the characteristics and features of the business writing. Now let's see what we are going to discuss in the next slide. As we have discussed the meaning of business writing and the attributes of business writing, now it's time to study what are the fundamental rules of business writing, right? So we'll be studying about the fundamental rules of business writing. Effective business writing is a crucial skill for professionals in any industry, right? So it involves clear, concise communication that is tailored to the audience and purpose, right? So here are the key fundamentals of business writing. So as we have already discussed, that business writing is already used to communicate the information, or exchange of information is done between the professionals, and it must involve the clear, concise, and accurate information. And we have to take care whether to whom we are sharing. We have to understand the purpose of sharing that information, and also the understanding level of that particular audience, the information to whom is catered. So let's see the fundamentals of business writing. The number one is clarity and conciseness, right? So we'll be studying about the first principle, that is clarity. What is clarity? What does clarity means? That clarity ensures that your writing is easy to understand and avoid jargons, technical errors, complex language, unless unnecessary for the audience, unless it is necessary for the audience, right? So if the complex language is required, then only you have to use it. Otherwise, you don't have to use it, right? Next is conciseness. Conciseness, as we have already discussed, it should be brief and to the point. Eliminate irrelevant information, irrelevant words, right? Next is the second fundamental rule is must define the purpose and cater the audience expectation, right? The first one is purpose. Understand the goal of your communication. Are you informing? Are you persuading, requesting, or confirming? Now, this is very important thing. As we are writing an email to our manager, so we must be sure, or we are writing email to anyone. we must think what is the subject line for it. Are we informing them? Are we asking them to encourage them to take action, or we are requesting them, or we are doing taking any confirmation from them, right? So we are also, the information can be for just to inform also, and also in sometimes when we talk about business emails, either we uh, do the grievances also, we write the complaints also. After that, we also put in the grievance redressal mails also, that yes, your complaints have been resolved. And also we must make sure that either we are informing them, persuading them, requesting them, or we are taking confirmation, right? Because this decides the purpose of your mail. Next is audience. Tailor your message to the audience. Consider their knowledge levels, their needs, and expectations. Right? It is very much clear. Right? To whom we are sending the message, it must clear the understanding. Who is the receiver? Right? The next is structure and organization. When we talk about structure and organization, let's see what we are talking. We are talking about the format of that particular mail, business letters, the proposals, or we are talking about the minutes of meeting, right? So we are talking about the format of it. So let's talk about first point in the structure and organization, that is introduction. In introduction, start with a clear information that outlines the main points or the purpose, right? The second will be the body. The body here is the content which you are putting in, like what you are writing. Suppose if you are writing for confirmation of order, what content you are giving, or suppose you are ordering, you are writing an order mail. So what you are writing? If you are writing cancellation mail or reordering mail, whatever you are writing, so must see what information you are putting into your body of the email or the letter. So present your information in a logical sequence, use headings, subheadings, and bullet points for easy reading, right? We have to, like, as you can see in the presentation, I have mentioned the numbers, like point number 2 is purpose and audience, and under this there are sub points which are being highlighted by the bullet points, right? So here it is clear that yes, we are under purpose, two things, we are talking about two things, purpose and audience. And under structure and organization, we are talking about introduction, body, conclusion. So here it is clear that yes, the heading is different and there are subheadings in that particular headings, right? So the presentation of that email, that letter should be clear, so that there should be no ambiguity, there should be no misinterpretations and misunderstanding, right? As we have to do the time management also, we have to take care of the time management also. We are doing some business communication, we are doing business dealings. We cannot put 2-3 hours in writing one mail, right? So we have to take care of the time management also. So if you will be doing the things in a very organized manner, you will be able to manage the time accordingly. So after body, the third point which comes under the structure and organization is conclusion. If we will be able to start properly, then we will be able to conclude well also, right? So summarize the key points and include a call to action if necessary, right? Do mention that for any query, please contact on this or this number, right? Or if free feel to contact for any query. Whatever line you want to mention, do mention, but do mention your contact number so that if somebody is unable to communicate via mail, because sometimes there are barriers in network or some other thing, so they may give you a call, right? Tone and style. Next, the fourth point under the structure organization is tone and style. So here, as I have already mentioned, that tone also affects the writing as we are doing the formal communication. So the tone of the letter or email should be in a formal way. So be professional, but also engaging. You just don't have to yell all the content. right? You also have to make the reader engaged into it. If somebody is reading your content, your mail, they must get interest in it, they must get interest in your proposal, and also like to read more about it, to find more information about it. So you have to make it engaging as well, right? The next is style. Maintain a consistent style. Use active voice, straightforward language, and positive phrasing. Right? When we are writing a professional document or some information, we must take care that we are using active voice, must be straightforward. You don't have to give such points that has to give the inference between the lines. You have to mention these straightforward sentences, straightforward language must be used because nobody is having that much of time to give the inference to your lines, right? So use the positive phrasing also, right correction of words, right correction of sentences, and also the style. And maintain it also. It shouldn't be the culture that one mail is in a very good format, other trail mails or the other mails are in a different format with different informal styles. No? The format must be consistent. Like the standard format should be followed in all mails and proposals. The content only changes according to the subject or subject line, right? Next comes is the grammar and mechanics. When we talk about grammar and mechanics, let's see what we are saying. Grammar ensures proper punctuation, proper spelling. Poor grammar can undermine your credibility. Exactly. When there will be a grammatical error, so it might happen. They might question your credibility whether the sender is not sending the correct information or they may not be able to communicate correctly. There is some issue in the writing skills. Anything can be interpreted by the receiver, right? The next is mechanics. Pay attention to formatting, font choices, overall presentation, consistency should be there in formatting, right? So I already told you that formatting is a key to effective communication in business writings, right? So what you have to do is you must follow that your content from the starting introduction till the conclusion. The font size should be the same. There should be no different formats in font size. There should be font choice should be good. That you have to use Times Roman or Arial for the formal communication. Most of the time, these fonts are used only, and you have to keep check what sort of presentation your email is having. So keep check on the overall formatting because it represents your writing skills, right? Moving to the next line, revising and proofreading. Revising and proofreading, what does this point says? Revising is review your draft for content accuracy. What sort of content you are providing? You have to review it once. Clarify and coherency. Do check whether it is clear or not, whether it will engage the audience or not. Make necessary adjustments if required. If there is any error, do rectify it then and there, right? Next is proofreading. We do proofreading just to check if there is any grammatical error or not, if there is any spelling error. So we have to rectify it then and there only. Read aloud can help catch mistakes. So one tip is also given in proofreading over here is that read that particular mail, letter, or proposal aloud so that if there will be any mistake, you will be able to catch it, right? Seventh point is professionalism and etiquette. When we talk about professionalism, it means maintain a proper, we say demeanor, that there should be a professional upfront, avoid slangs, over casual language, avoid humor that will not be well received by the receiver. Be courteous and respectful. Address recipients, address the receivers properly and use polite language. Right? So further we'll be discussing about the common types of business writing. So let's start with emails. There are emails in common types of business writing includes emails, memos, we say business reports, and so on. So we'll be discussing it one by one, right? So